if I can ask you the first question, Indiana. Everything is wrapped up about Ohio State being the number 2 team in the country, but do you think Indiana, this is their home game, their big time on the national stage with game day and everything? Do you think they could be affronted a little bit by this, all the publicity for Ohio State? And what do you expect to see when you get there?
Well, last time I was there, it was a dogfight. We kind of talked to Coach Wilson about it all week. These guys are. I don't underlook these guys by any means. I know the Hoff kid, defensive tackle. He was an Ohio kid that played against him in high school. So there's a lot of these kids that are. People like to say that they're under recruited or whatever. They're this, that, and the other, but they're still going to go out hard. They're still going to show up the first play, the last play, play all 4 quarters. So I think it is a big hype game. Having ESPN and all that whole crew there. Just going to go out and just going to show up, go out there and play and execute.
They haven't been known as a great defensive team over the years, but do you feel with this coach that they're turning some corners? They're going to be better defensively than what you may have seen out of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they put themselves in positions to win too, just as much. I know their linebackers pretty good. Their front seven is always solid. You have to make sure that you take care of things on our end of things, go out and execute, and go win a game.
Does their scheme present anything unusual from your standpoint?
No, it's pretty traditional from what we've seen in the past. When I say traditional, I mean consistent with what Big Ten teams show. Making sure it's a front seven, 4 down, typical type things. Again, they got playmakers over there. Secondary, I believe, is new. Their front seven is again the guys who came back from last year. 3 returning starters. The linebacker is pretty good as well. So just again, put a man on a man and go block the guy.
Billy, in your view, how did Brandon win that starting guard job? What did he do so well in camp to help him stand out with a pretty talented group there?
Well, so Brandon's actually come a long way. Last year he and I were in camp together, and he was actually my roommate. And it was kind of, as a young kid, you get into a moment, and these young players, there's so much going on, and they really have to be able to slow the game down and kind of slow down their mindset and their way that they approach a play. So watching Brandon kind of go through that transformation, he has some things going on off the field, a family life, school and everything to get consistent. He's in a good place right now. Got a girlfriend going that's keeping him solid. His family's doing really, really well, and he's kind of found his way at Ohio State. So he's got an opportunity to play right guard during camp. Went out and executed, played well, and got the spot.
Was he the guy that you expected to emerge as the starter?
I'm going to defer that comment. Yeah, I've just make sure the best 5's out there, go out there and win, and that's all. Make sure the guy, whoever's playing next to me, playing next to Isaiah, Jamarco, whoever the case may be, just go out there and make sure that we can trust you and that you're capable of playing.
Describe what he's like as a player.
He's quiet. Brand's quiet. If you've ever been able to see him, he's a quiet guy, but you always talk about like a gentle giant. But what we saw in camp, and really being able to play next to Isaiah and myself, or guys who've played, guys who've been in situations that you have to learn how to play on the fly, and it kind of helped his learning curve as well. There's not that kind of responsibility as a first-year guard, really, because he's been playing tackle for 2 years as a guard to kind of just come in there and just kind of just flow with things. So it's a really easy transition for him.
You guys obviously have Michael Jordan. Indiana has a player who started all 13 games at left tackle as a true freshman.
Oh yeah.
Can you put into perspective just how difficult a thing that is?
Incredibly difficult. I mean, again, I was watching the film, and if you got to line up against Sam Hubbard, when you play, and all the defensive ends that are respectable in the Big Ten, I mean, it's very, very challenging. I got to give a lot of respect to the kid too, and it's the same thing with Mike Jordan. But again, it's not just the product of the kid; it's people around him as well that make him, able to play and be able to start for 13 games. So, got to give a lot of respect to both of them.
David, what has Thayer Munford showed you over the last 4 weeks? He's listed number 2 at that right tackle spot as a freshman. What's impressed you about him?
So I think the biggest thing with Thayer is he's able to really come in and just go. I mean, just go. He has no problem whether it's Sam Hubbard, Jalen Holmes, whoever's in there. Just go out and execute a play. Might not win every rep, might win some reps, but that's the thing. And he's really been able to just kind of be able to play fast and not really think about things too much. So compared to, as a freshman comes in, and that learning curve might be a little bit slower, might take you a little bit longer to understand those plays, and Thayer was really able to kind of pick things up and kind of roll with it.
What does the offensive line have to do to be ready to go up tempo as much as it sounds like you guys might do?
Not eat a lot of pasta before the game. No, I think really for us, again, it's making sure that everybody's on the same page. Because again, if you push the ball, you push the offense, the defense is not going to be set. So you make sure that you're able to make sure you take care of your fundamentals, take care of your technique, and understand the play, what gap you have, what man you have, and just go out there and go play. And that's, I think, the big thing for us is get the ball spotted. Ref's got to do his thing, get out of the way, and let's just go play ball.
Can you just give us context again of what we were talking about it all camp?
Right.
We've seen you guys do it times in the past, but how much are we going to see this?
Well, I think it's also situational based too. Because we can slow the game down, we can make it fast, we can get on the ball quick, we can throw different kind of looks at it. I think it really just depends on what Coach Wilson wants. Obviously, you're going to make sure you come out of the game, guns blazing and go attack the defense. But I think that it's Coach Wilson's call on that one.
What has Coach Wilson been like getting ready to face his old team?
Yeah, I saw that was a headline on 11 Warriors. He's kind of just he's been the same guy that he's been in camp. He's always cheery, a lot of energy, always, stands in front of me during stretch lines and bothers me the entire time. But yeah, I think Coach Wilson, it's a unique opportunity for him because again, but it is business. I mean, he's wearing the Blanco, he's not wearing the IU. And I think that he's just really looking forward to put us in a position to win and go out there and execute.
Do you guys get any more intimate knowledge of the individuals in the defense because Coach Wilson recruited those guys? Like, how much different is it from like a typical game plan?
Well, that's the unique thing as well. I think that we've had past coaches. I'm trying to think who else came in. There's been some past coaches. I mean, even like Coach Stud. Coach Stud knows a couple people down south if we were to play like an SEC team. Or even when we played Maryland last year, that's a good example. But I think it is a little bit better knowledge. Again, both sides have got insider scoops on stuff. People who are hurt, people, hey, he doesn't do this well, he does this really, really well. So I think it's been able to help. But again, you just got to make sure you block the guy in front of you. So each player assessment has helped. Hey, he really likes to do this, or this guy really is good at this. He likes to get off the ball quick. So I think that's been able to really, really help. But again, like I said, we're going against the best D-line in the nation every day of practice. So if we can block those guys, you just got to make sure you put yourself in a position to block the guys across from you against IU.
Billy, you guys are number 2 in both major polls that have come out. You've been around this team for a month now. The team is going to play. How legitimate is that? And where do you think this team's mind is going into the opener from the standpoint of the great expectations?
Well, I think the expectations that we put on ourselves are a lot higher than what the media or what fans across the nation actually put on us. I particularly don't really look at rankings. If you're looking at number 2 in the AP or whatever the case may be, again, you just got to make sure you go into Saturday and make sure you come out 1-0, well, Thursday for this case, and just go out and execute and play your game, because you can't start looking at rankings and preseason projections and preseason All-American teams and this. Just go out there, execute, beat the guy across from you every play, and that's all you can ask for.
9 captains is the most in Ohio State school history. What's it like having that many captains?
I think it's a real reflection on the senior leadership in the senior class. 7 of the fifth-year seniors that decided to come back are all very intricate parts of this team. And I think even the young guys too, the fourth-year seniors, Jamarco Jones, Jalen Holmes, Sam Hubbard, and that class itself provides a lot of leadership, and it's just a great reflection on the development that we've done here in the positions the coaches have put us in.
How do you guys work together as a group of 9 guys to all be leaders for this team?
Well, if I think the breakdown is 5 defensive guys and 4 offensive guys, if I do call it right. I really think that it's a balance, though. Again, you got myself up front, JT's in the back, receivers taking care of their aspects of things. In the defense, you're let me see, what's it? 3 of them are defensive linemen, I believe. Yes, 4 defensive linemen. But again, I think it goes back to show the culture and the culture that we have here at Ohio State. And I think that's a great representation. So as collectively as a whole, you just got to make sure that your unit is accountable, and that's what we make sure that happens.
Do you guys meet every day before practice? How do captains work after you're elected or after you're named? What's the mechanism? I mean, do y'all have meetings? What goes on?
A lot of the captains, all the captains are actually on our leadership council as well. And so, I mean, we don't have like predetermined, pre-designed, hey, at 1:45 we're going to meet every day and just, whatever the case is. It's a fluid thing. I think that the captaincy, just because there's 9 official named captains, I think that is not limited to the leadership that we have on the upper part of our team. Guys like, I've always looked, and I always tell you guys, Jamarco Jones, same thing. He might not have had the captain title itself, but he is my right hand. He is my left. He's 1A, 1B type deal with us in the offensive line. So there's a lot of expectation on the guys that are not just captains, but making sure that our leadership in the direction of our team is going the right way.
How many guys are on that leadership council?
Whoever's on the schedule poster, that's the guys.
Well, you don't obviously have a preseason, so every opener is more of a mystery than probably the NFL. How much of a mystery is this team to you right now?
Who? You or us?
No, you.
Us? I would present to say that yeah, it is a mystery, just because of the fact that you don't know, I haven't hit another guy since January. I've been hitting the same dude since spring ball started. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity for guys to see when conflict or somebody else comes and hits you, how do you respond to that? How do you react to that? If for Benjamin Victor or Johnny Dixon or whoever those guys, if you got a hand in your face and it's not our guy, how do you respond to that type of deal? So I think that that's a lot. As an offensive line as well, making sure that hey, you start the season out strong. All the last year is last year, and not take some of the negative thoughts and negative concerns from fans, media, etc., whoever it is, and make sure you start fresh. It's a new season. When we play on Thursday, we're writing our own chapter instead of being taking off from what was last year.
And how confident are you that you will live up to not only outside expectations but your own expectations?
I'm pretty confident, and I think we have a good game plan going in. I think that the work week that we put in as an offensive line is making sure that we're ready to execute at a high level. Again, you just got to go out there on Thursday, make sure nobody's got those first game big old eyes that they're like, oh my God, this is too much, and just go out there and make sure everybody's on the same page and then we'll execute.
How's Matthew Burrow handed being edged out? Because Urban made it sound like that was a really close battle.
You said Matt?
Yeah.
I think Matt's been able to kind of really. We always talk about making sure you add value to a program and not just be a guy who takes a meal, not just be another number to add value. So I think Matt's been able to do that. He's been floating around in like 3 different positions in both guards and center. So I think that Matt's got he's putting him in a position so if somebody goes down or somebody he's that guy, the next guy to go in or whatever the case may be with coaches.
Hey,
So
Billy,
that's the
Urban
question.
just said that Josh Myers has got a long way to go, but he's going to be a very good player one day. Maybe it has to do with the idea that he played in an offense that didn't pass much in high school. But what have you seen about his progression since he arrived? And do you see what Urban sees?
Yeah, I would agree with Coach Meyer. I think that Josh has made a lot of progress within this last week itself. Even right now we're working on making sure that just play with little on your mind and just go. Understand what your assignment is, what your the technique that you have to take, and just go hit somebody. So I think that Josh and I've had a couple conversations about that, and I mean he's a strong dude. So if he can able to learn how to use his strengths and learn what God has given him, he's going to be dynamic for us. So Josh, and the development doesn't just stop after camp. The development continues throughout the rest of the season. So that's where Josh and I are going to be very close working with that together. So
Thanks, Billy.
let's go.
Thank you.
Billy.